Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you my basically every lesson routine. First, we're going to start with taking her fly sheet and her fly mask off. By the way, she can see. I've gotten many questions about that. She can see. It's mesh. She's not being blinded. But we're just going to take this off. Got a little buckles to make sure that it doesn't fall off, because she has a tendency to break these things, and this one has lasted 3 months, which is a record for her right now. The last one lasted 2 days, so that's wonderful. And then cameraman just fell in a hole. Anyway, you take it off, and you, I just do that. She's very round. We love our round Mustang. And then you take this off. She is looking for treats right now. Now we're gonna groom her. And she's smiling now because she thinks she's so funny. How you start it off, you get the soft brush and the hard brush, which I have a lot of stuff in my bag, so this is actually the hard brush I found out recently, and this is the soft brush because it's a little bit wider and softer. This one's a little bit more rough. Start with the hard brush. You just brush away all that dust and dirt. Ooh, she's dirty. And after you give her a good brush, you just use the soft brush and you go over a bit more lightly, go over the legs. This is just to make sure you got everything. This is nice and clean. Then I usually, after I brush her, I brush her mane and her tail with a brush. I just start from the bottom, work my way up, because she's having a midlife crisis and hates the bugs. Because, you know, she comes from Wyoming, so they don't have things we have here. So you can see here she has rubbed her tail out, and it's pretty bad. We worked all fall and winter for this tail, for her to just rip it out. Anywho, we move on to the mane. Ooh, whoa, who did that? I gotta go. And I brush it all so it's not all messy. And make sure I get everything out of it, and then I brush what we call the forelock. Next thing we're going to do is get the dirt out of her hooves. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run my hand all the way down, and then I like to lean myself up against her because she likes being a jerk. So her hooves aren't actually that bad. You take the hoof pick and you clean out these little divots right here, which is what we call the frog. Why we call it that, I have no idea, because it doesn't look like a frog. But we're basically going to do that for every hoof. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the saddle, the girth, and the bridle, which is that one. So we'll first grab the saddle. I already have my saddle pad on it, my new Lemieux saddle pad. And then we're going to grab her girth, which is, I'm throwing things everywhere, which is this one. So we have all of that. And then we're just going to grab it, tuck it under that arm, or over that arm. Then we're going to grab the bridle. And then, ooh, run into the door, of course. Hang the bridle there. Put the saddle there. So we put the saddle pad on first, which I don't think she's got her grippy thing, so. This, yeah, sorry, I did lose it. Oh, she's smiling again. She's so funny. And then we put the half pad on, which just is some extra cushioning because, as I showed you, she's rounder, so she needs more cushioning. And then grab the saddle and just plop it on top. I stick my hand underneath so it leaves a little gap right up front. Then you take the girth, and this one goes this way with this pointing towards the front of her. And you take it and slip it under here and snip it through. I put it on hole 2 because you don't want it too tight to start out with. And then once you get this side, you go over to the other side and grab it. And then with this side, the back one goes to the front one. Oh, it's a little tight. It's okay. Then you tighten it. So I'm gonna just let her adjust to that one before you slide this one on. Adjust the stirrups. Which my stirrup hole is at 7. And then swing it up. Swing that over. You go over to the other side. Same thing. Put it on hole 7. Bring it up. Swing it over. And now we'll go ahead and put the bridle on. Before you put the bridle on, you have to put the helmet on, which is one of the most important things that you need to ride. So I have mine, and I just twist it in the back, and then I buckle it. And then you gotta make sure these are kind of right up against my ears. Now the next thing is the bridle. And with the bridle, I have a few extra pieces. I have my ear bonnet and what I like to call my jingle bells. They're actually called rhythm beads. And with these, first of all, I take one off. So that drops. And then slide them up over her head. And I just, that. And these just kind of sit around her neck like a big old necklace. Then the next thing is...
So stylish.
You take the halter off, not all the way off, you don't just want to drop it. You want to take it off and just wrap it around their neck. Just in case they decide to spook, they're still attached. You don't have to worry about them running away. And then slide her ears through. And you got the cute little ear bonnet. This helps protect her ears from the flies because she's very sensitive about that. And then you slide the reins over her head. So for that extra security, because it is possible for them to snap the cross tie off the ball. She's done it before. And then you grab it all in your right hand, swing your right hand under, you flatten your hand, you put it up against their mouth. Oh my gosh, that worked on the first try. She likes to be difficult about it sometimes. And then I just adjust everything so that nothing is poking her or irritating her or anything. So just make sure this is all adjusted, and I attach it all together. Zola, please stop moving. Thank you. And then, okay, just move your face. Thank you. No, I just told you to stop moving. So that works. Then you'll slide it through. Make sure this is under her chin. And then you take this, which is the throat strap, And you gotta make sure you can fit a whole hand comfortably, or at least 4 fingers comfortably under her chin. If it's too tight, it'll choke them. If it's too loose, it'll get stuck under their chin and they'll freak out. So this is probably good. I could probably loosen it, to be honest. No. Never mind. So indecisive. And then you have a fully tacked up horse. Not with this on, of course, but a fully tacked up horse. Ready to ride. So here I'm walking up to the mounting block, which is the little stairs, the blue stairs you see right there. And I'm just going to tighten the girth up a little bit and then get on, and I'm going to do just a warm-up walk all the way around the arena just to get her focused, getting her to know that we're about to do some work, and then we'll start our trot work as well. Here you'll see me putting my gloves on. I did have to take them off to put the girth up more because she was puffing her stomach out. So took a little longer than usual, but I just put my gloves on, and then once those are on, I will pick up my whip that I did end up dropping, and then I will hop on and do the warm-up lap. So here I'm doing trot warm up, and then after the trot I'll do canter warm up, and then we'll do a little exercise for the trot and canter. This is the canter warm up, and then I do an exercise where I go down to the letter E, and it's called a half circle. But what I'll do is basically make a U-turn, and I'll go straight down the middle of the arena, and then I will make kind of like a diagonal line towards M that's in the corner, and then I'll pick up the left lead canter, which is what you'll see me do here, is I'm doing the diagonal, and then I go and I pick up the left lead, which was a little iffy, but that's okay. So here I am trying to do what we call a stretchy circle. I'm trying to make her stretch her head down and low and get a nice stretchy trot. And sometimes you'll see her put her head down. She hasn't been ridden in a while because of a back injury, so I'm just trying to get her to remember stretch down and low and stretch into the bit, which is what she's doing here. She's trying to put her head down. So here was actually her first ride back with me. We just did a bareback lesson, no saddle, and she did really well. She was stretching really nice for me. As you can see in these, she's putting her head down, she's rounding out, and she's just stretching really nicely. This is what my lessons looked like for a while. While she had her back injury, we really just did some round pen lunging, or free lunging, which is no lunge line. They run around a round pen. They do walk, trot, canter, and all this stuff. And right now, I'm struggling to get her to just walk. She hadn't been worked with for a little bit because the week before I worked with another horse named Bean, which you'll see eventually. And then she's just not quite getting that all I'm asking her for is just walk. So we struggle with that a little bit, and she gets a little spicy, as you can see. And then, well, she does that. And I finally get her to walk a good couple of rounds around the round pen. But then I ask her to change direction. She doesn't quite understand what I'm asking. So she decides I'm going to back up. I'm like, that's not what I'm asking. So I'm telling her, turn around. We're going to go the other direction. And I keep pushing her. I'm like, you got this. And I finally turn around and she does this. So I'm like, that's not what you're supposed to do. So I finally get her to turn around, and then she's like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm like, no, we're not gonna keep going. Finally, she walks, and she's still got that little jig in her. She's still looking around. That's okay. So here's Bean. He's got a problem in his canter called crossfiring, which is what this is. You can see his front foot doesn't align with his back foot, and then he freaks out because I tell him to break down to the trot, and I'm like, no, don't do that. But the cut is a little weird. Yeah, he's freaking out.